Imagine everything you love about the hobby in the palm of your hand. An entire store at your fingertips. Everything you need to know about cards is within your grasp. Unlock the secrets of the hobby. Plus, so much more. You don't have to imagine anymore. It's here. Card Ladder. Get the app today.
Hello, BAM Sports Cards. Yeah, there is I can't believe anybody would go live at this hour. Thank you, Long Island Sports Cards. I completely agree with that. I'll tell you this, the audio will be much clearer on this stream than it is on that stream. Sorry to hear that, Rodman, but what about next week, buddy? J Pine 38, how are you? Let's bring Josh in here. I cannot believe that social card work. I think somebody should go let him know. Yeah, exactly. Let me just pin this. This is a great comment here.
What?
Pin that comment. What's up, Josh? Well said, Rodman. Concise and to the point.
Is he going
No. To Wisconsin?
to Dallas?
I don't know. I asked him that, but he didn't.
He's like being weird about it. I was like, "Did you get your hotel?" And he's like, "For national." I'm like, dude, you know I'm talking about Dallas. He doesn't want to disappoint us. It's okay if you don't go. Man.
It's okay if you don't go, man.
We'll survive.
Hopefully we will make it somehow.
I don't feel like looking at computers right now, so I'm gonna just move straight into chill mode.
Hour 2 mode off the bat. Let's go. That's great. Okay, we can definitely do that.
I started opening my laptop. I was like, no.
That's a big decision.
It
Big
is.
decision. I like it a lot. Thank you, Drake. I happen to agree with that comment as well.
What is there? Oh, nice. Chris HOJ is live.
Do you have any mail days? I do not.
I had the Fitzgerald Gold that I got back from PSA, but it's upstairs, and I'm lazy, so.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Bruin, we will get to that question. Bruin KLR. We do have a question related to that. Rodman says he's not going to Dallas.
Ah,
Sigh.
I know. I'm freaking everybody out. I'm not used to seeing your face this early. They're like, wait, is it 2 hours? Oh, I got a haircut today. Is it too, what's the word? Hip? Too cool?
It may be too cool. Might be verging on too
I always,
cool.
when the barber's cutting my hair, I'm like, just don't do like the fade thing and I'm too nerdy for all that. Just cut it. Just keep it simple. They're like, you want gel? What? No. Gel? Do I look like I want gel?
Okay. Well, we've given people a few minutes to come in here, and we have an enormous amount of questions to get to. So, welcome to the crossover, May 14th, Friday, May 14th, 2021. And any announcements that we have to make today? Do you have any?
We'll be in Dallas next week.
We will be in Dallas next week. That is very true. Check out Dibs. Dibs is now featuring data supplied by Card Ladder. So
Yes.
That's a lot of fun.
No, I mean, yeah, we got all these cool like partnerships going on with Card Ladder right now, which we're excited about. We got the giveaways, and we're sort of ramping up on some of that more fun stuff for everyone to get involved. The app's going good. Working on some stuff behind the scenes. Got a cool feature that's people have been begging me for a long time that it's coming soon. Stuff like that,
That's great. That's excellent. Yeah. Big shout out to the 7 content creators who each gave away one Card Ladder year-long membership, and shout out to the winners as well. They've been very gracious, and it's pretty awesome to have been able to do that. So, all right, announcements done. First comment comes from TMC Ma. Bring back the 3-hour episodes. So not tonight. Tonight is going to be a nice 2-hour one because we need to be up early tomorrow for us. But maybe in the future, your feedback is being taken under advisement. All right. Dormant Stash says, what time are you headed to the Dell show? Well, Josh will not be at the Dell show, but he will be in Dallas, as will we next week. This is the last crossover before the Dallas show, actually, come to think of it. But we'll be at the Dallas show from around 3 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. So,
And then you guys are going straight to Dallas, right?
Pretty much. Pretty much. So, Brett says, I want to listen to 8 hours of podcast content to fill my entire week. Well, that's a tall order. I suppose we make about 2.5 to 3 a week. So
I had someone DM me joking about how early you guys are going. They're like, are Chris and Christina going on Monday? And I was like, I mean, I know you're joking, but they really are going on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, we are. We'll be there Tuesday night. Wednesday is a grand opening in Dallas of a big card shop, so we're going to hit that.
There you
go. Meet up with some other people down there, and then show starts Thursday. So it's going to fly by. It felt like it took forever for this show to get here, but now it's finally here, and I'm pumped for it. I'm absolutely pumped for it. All right. Fresh Finds 101. We had a lot of comments as well as questions this week. Comments from Fresh Finds 101. Just a quick comment. Sports cards and the sports card community are awesome.
Nice. Dude, it's because our audience is evolving, and probably because they know that we don't answer most questions about, what's going up and stuff. So they're just like, oh, I'll just say fun stuff now.
Indeed. What happens to Card Ladder data? Is the market closed?
I would absolutely panic. I'd be like, oh my God, do I have to do this?
No, it will still get done. The work will still be done. It'll be like a magician's act, like Houdini or something.
I told you, I was like, what if you get the flu? And you're like, I'll still do it. I'm like, no, like, what if you literally are just like bedridden? You're like, no, I'll be on my phone doing it. I'm like, my God. So unless you're literally dead.
Yep, it would take death to stop Card Ladder's data from flowing through me. Okay. The Currency Project says, please discuss eBay eliminating subcategories for trading cards and the ensuing mess.
I don't know anything about that. It's okay. So I will be the devil's advocate here. They actually added a category by doing so. So what they did was the category level is now reserved for separating singles, boxes, lots, etc. So it's like at that level of cards, that's what category is now reserved for. And then under that, they've added new categories for sport, team. Maybe they already had those, but they're now going to be putting more emphasis on sport, team, and like year and set and variation and stuff. So you could argue that it's actually like adding a layer of ways to search. It just kind of screwed up people's saved searches, and it's a little bit annoying because they didn't really say anything about it. They just kind of did it, and that's what's annoying for everybody. But I think if you step back and look at what's actually been changed, you can kind of adjust.
Very true. Did your saved searches get impacted personally?
I don't do any save searches with categories. I only just do save searches with, the queries and like the exclusions and stuff. So I was not impacted.
Same here. I was confused about what everybody was talking about because I was like, I have like 150 roughly saved searches, and I went through all of them and they all were working fine. But apparently you can refine your saved searches by category or something.
I think people do save searches for like sets and for sports, and then those got messed up. Like they're looking for getting a certain sport card in a certain release or something, and that got messed up.
Yeah, and there's a lesson there. A lesson to all platforms, including us. Don't tinker with something unless you're sure you're making it better. Good lesson there. But I hope everybody's save searches are okay. Not too much time had to be wasted recreating any. All right, Mike Pinkerton 50 with the first question of the night. Well, second question of the night. There are panicked people out there selling top cards for cheap. Do you think it will go lower? And then Corey King Cards, relatedly, takes the other side of the coin and says, buy the dip.
Yeah, I'm more on that front. Man, if there's like actual sweet stuff hitting the market and people are panicking, hit me up. I love a good bargain shopping, because you know how you might be one of the only people I've heard talk about this, where you're like, who's going to make the platform for buyers to get stuff cheaper? Not everyone wants the platform that's touted to get sellers the highest fees, the highest prices. That's not very good for me as a buyer, as a collector, as someone who's trying to get. I want to buy stuff the cheapest I can possibly buy it, so that I can get more of it, so I can build my collection. If I spend $100,000 on one card, I'm not going to build a very deep collection if it's just like I'm having to fork over all my money for one card, you know? So think about it that way, I guess. Like, if you're in this to collect, this is going to be an interesting time where you can kind of navigate this and take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely. There's a comment in the chat that's an interesting one from Bless and Breaks. This is more than a dip. Dips don't last 4 months. So this is really interesting, right? So let's look at this. So I'm gonna pull up the card ladder index, the CL50. And for those who are unfamiliar with the card ladder 50, it's 50 iconic cards representing 6 different sports as well as Pokemon. And it's frequently transacted grades. So, for example, we have the 79 O-Pee-Chee Gretzky PSA 9, 52 Mantle PSA 4, stuff like that. Stuff that's going to sell frequently. And here's the trajectory of that index over the last 3 months. So on February 12th, that index was at 22,600. Today, it's at 24,830. So by the metric of the index, we're actually up about 10% over the last 3 months. The index peaked on March 6th at 30,253. And then once again, we are now at about 25,000. So the market has dropped from the peak by about 1/6, about 17, 18%. So that's a macro look at things. Is that a dip? Is that a crash? Is it something more? Is it just a new floor, or a new equilibrium? These are open questions. But I think there are outliers that go in both directions. And I've found it amusing to like identify cards that have been going up even recently, because there are plenty of them. I think it's always good to just do something like this too, and then I'll stop rambling here, but let me just do one more thing. Headlines. Every day, 8 noteworthy all-time highs are posted to the Card Ladder newsfeed. So here's one. The 2004 Topps Chrome Black Refractor LeBron PSA 10. It's out of 500. Pop 16. Set an all-time high. What's today? The 14th. So yesterday for $25K.
Yeah.
The Luka Doncic Fast Break Purple PSA 10 set an all-time high of $25K 2 days ago. The Michael Jordan Scoring Kings 9.5 set an all-time high of $9,500. Lewis Hamilton, Roy Campanella, Kobe downtown insert, 2018 Cornerstones box, 2000 Tom Brady EX out of 1500 base, PSA 8. So all I'm saying here, I'm not contradicting the notion that the market has retreated because the index shows that it has. But it's retreated by about 17 to 18%. It's up 10% over the last 3 months. And cards are shattering records every damn day. So this is a much more complicated story than it might seem. All right, I've said a lot of things. Do you want to say anything here?
Oh no, I've been listening, enjoying. No, I have two things. Sorry, two things. One, the sense of something dipping is usually like what's in your immediate vicinity of like things that either you own or things that like you're privy to that are dipping, like, you know, Luka common stuff, Zion common stuff. Yeah, there's a dip there, as there should be. But if you shift to the collector mindset, with me for a second, there's a lot of stuff that, as you pointed out, that has not dipped. The football stuff, for example, is doing the very opposite of dipping. And I've told you guys 100 times, if you buy stuff you like and you really get into it and you research it and you understand it and you don't follow the hype, the stuff that Brett's been buying because he likes it, the receiver stuff that I've been buying that it never like tripled and went crazy and went parabolic and there was never a big pump and dump on it. It just is sort of like gone up pretty slow over the last year, and I've noticed that it's, you know, it's at the point now where it's like, yeah, a lot of that stuff has doubled in like the last year, which in our world, that's like, God, what a piece of shit. Well, it's only doubled in a year. What's wrong with that thing, you know? But it's like, well, maybe just like find stuff that you're not needing for it to triple, and you're not looking to double your money in 2 weeks, right? Like find stuff that you enjoy that you can kind of build up over time, and then look up and all of a sudden like, oh, I've built something pretty sweet here, and now it's doing well. I think there's lots of different, I still think there's, you know, tons of different areas where that's the case, and especially if there is a dip, okay, well, if you believe in something and it's dipping, then buy it and wait for it to go back up if it's something good. Second, we've been in this hobby for 5 years now. Good stuff today relative to 5 years ago is still incredibly expensive and gone way, way up. So like, I just have the perspective of like the market being more than the last 6 months where we see up and then now it's dipping. Over the last 5 years, we're still just like in this whole new world of everything being super, super high.
Yeah, and would you agree that it's certainly possible, and it really seems like maybe the market, and in particular well-capitalized new entrants, just got carried away in the months of February and March and just sort of saw never-ending all-time highs and just continued to buy things at higher and higher prices, and the expectation became unrealistic.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Especially when like celebrities come in and they buy stuff at 3x what it's ever sold. You know, now you're at like you're at that like stage. What's the where was that stage in that graph or whatever? Paranoia, where like people are just like, okay, whatever, just buy whatever. Like we're just gonna make money on anything we ever buy, and that's obviously not the case in any market ever. So if you just, you know, relax, pause, and like figure out what's actually going on, you realize the dip is coming after this, no matter what. It's just nothing can go up, nothing can triple in a month and then not go back down. It's impossible.
Yeah, and it's not just cards. Bitcoin is trading south of 50,000.
South of, dude. I remember when 20,000 was insane, and now we're like, oh my God, it's below 50. Like, dude, it's still like 2.5x up from like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and all it took apparently to bring about a drop of 15,000 points or $15,000 was just Elon Musk's tweet relating to Tesla pausing accepting payments in Bitcoin for a little while due to environmental concerns. I mean, that's all it took. I mean, that may have been a blessing in disguise to that market for that to happen, so that it could have an excuse to correct a little bit and to take a breath here, much like our market needed.
So he has qualms with a digital currency affecting our planet when he uh, like factories that produce physical cars being pushed out. Okay, sure. Musk, get on your high horse about saving the planet with digital currency when your existence is to like create factories and produce cars, whatever. I get that he's like making electric cars, but it's a little bit ironic to hear him say that.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And so much like as in Bitcoin, as in the hobby, uh, right now is a really important time because right now is when the strong hands prevail and the shrewd buyers come in and pick things up strategically. This is the real test of the market. Any market can go manic and go parabolic for a little while, but how many markets can survive and continue to sustain and go forward?
We have, dude.
Yes.
I feel like we've already recovered through this, right? Like I know that some of the stuff is still going down, but the recovery on this stuff is unbelievable to me. Like in a lot of markets, this phase where we're at right now is like panic mode, and there's still shows are at an all-time high. Instagram people that I see are at an all-time high. So like I'm not seeing it. Like I just the actual momentum and volume of transactions and people and energy still seems way, 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 way higher than it was 5 years ago. And it's coming off of a massive.
Yeah, that's a really the shows, man, there are so many shows this weekend. I follow the hashtag like sports card show and card shows on Instagram, and I've seen at least a dozen different shows countrywide that are being promoted. And there's just so many shows, man. I mean, I when I was looking, so when the Miami courtside show happened, there, this is very difficult to parse, but typically Saturdays on Card Ladder we track around 1.2 to 1.3 million in sales. That's a pretty typical weekend day. Those days are pretty high transaction volume wise over the last month or two. The day of the Miami courtside show, we tracked like I think maybe it's 600,000 or 800,000. I mean, there was like a visible like chunk of the buying that normally happens on eBay was like to the tune of $500,000 was just missing from the daily sales. And these shows are taking tons and tons, millions, tens of millions of dollars that otherwise would have been spent on eBay is being taken away. 1.2 million dollars, tough polls, $1.2 million. So that context has to be thought about, I think. Do you want to address something?
No, I haven't had enough beers to answer that last question.
That's an hour two question.
You already know
Okay.
how you already have seen the rage come out of me, so
So let me just put a bow on that topic. Yeah, and Fire Sports Car says the Miami show was awesome. It looked like it was an absolute blast. And so we're having all these shows going on, and that takes buyers away from eBay. But the auctions keep running on eBay, and there's less bidders, and so that means there's going to be less competition, less comps being set. Lower comps are going to be set. eBay continues to be the standard for comp setting. It's a very complicated predicament that we find ourselves in right now. With all this money being taken away from eBay. But I suppose we will adjust and adapt to it. We just got to kind of figure it out. And I think people are going to get show fatigue. Our friend David Riverfront, My Slabs, who is in Wisconsin, is taking a pass on the Dallas show in particular because he said he's feeling some show fatigue. So eventually people might feel show fatigue and calm down a little bit on the shows and things will settle. But yeah, we can see in some of our metrics that there's never been more activity of people searching and researching cards, but it's just not materializing on eBay. It's happening now in tandem of in person and on eBay, and so that's making comps go lower than they would if everybody was on eBay.
yeah. And there's a lot of people that I know and a lot of sense of people still willing to pay a lot of pretty high prices on some of that rare stuff that they actually enjoy, and I have a good sense of a lot of people in that world, and they're still just as excited, if not more excited than ever right now than they were, 3 months ago. And to see people raise their floor on what they're willing to pay for some of this stuff just because they want it and they want to own it, to me has been the biggest indicator of where we are in the market, because whatever, people get hyped and they buy a bunch of stuff because it's going up in value. They buy the next Top Shot, whatever. That doesn't surprise me anymore. People get FOMO and they get greedy. But to see people that I trust and know that are willing to put down hard-earned money to get something to their collection and pay a lot more than they would have had to a few years ago and kind of eat that pride, to me, that's a really strong indicator of where we are.
It sure is. Well said. Social Card Network says, with all the cash sales it shows, could you even get accurate reports? Maybe. That's like the old school Beckett method. But even if we could, I don't know that it would really add much knowledge to the body of knowledge, because eBay and the auction houses, Golden, Heritage, and so forth, they continue to set the comps. And so when people are negotiating shows, they're referencing eBay comps or Golden comps or Heritage comps. So even if we were tracking sales that were happening at shows, aren't those sales most likely just going to be reflections of the comps that we're already tracking on eBay, Heritage, and Golden? I think that's probably the case. Okay. You want to say anything else on the macro of the market, or should we move on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. We had some questions about the NBA. People are getting very excited about the NBA. The playoffs are forthcoming. First one comes from Card Porn. Card Porn says, why do people hate on Russell Westbrook so much and pretend like his triple-double record doesn't mean anything? He has nearly 2 whole seasons worth of triple-doubles. Put some respect on his name. And then on a similar topic, Boulevard of Cards says, during the Big O's triple-double season, Oscar Robertson in 61-62, the lowest number of shot attempts was 8,300. No team attempted less than 100 per game. During Westbrook's triple-double seasons, the highest number of shot attempts was 7,200 in 2016, similar in 17-18 and 18-19, and 6,400 so far this season. So no team has attempted more than 100 shots per game during this season, during Westbrook's triple-double period. Are we sure we're overrating triple-doubles? Is that there an NBA stat that you really love? Yes, it is. Okay, so some Russell Westbrook love there. And nothing new to this show. We've been singing his praises for quite some time. Michael Jordan that's what always put Westbrook on my radar, was that Jordan and some of the other GOATs were always very complimentary of Westbrook. They really love how hard he plays, how hard he works. What do you want to say to Card Porn Boulevard of Cards about Russ?
I think it's been really cliche to say that he's been underrated and underappreciated recently, because I feel like the pendulum swung back where he is now it's been a really great narrative for him this season, in a positive for him in his career. Like, I feel like the pendulum has swung all the way back and people appreciate him now, probably because, at this point we've realized, he's probably not going to win a championship, and he's definitely not going to win one as the alpha. He may not win one at all. And so we're just kind of coming to those terms that, like, that's the reality. And so now let's shift to, like, okay, that's our expectation of him. Now let's just look at him for what he is and start to, like, appreciate what he's been doing all this time. And I think that's fantastic. I don't want to brag too much about that, but we've been singing Westbrook's praises for a long time on this show as an example of someone. Go look at a player like that doesn't have all this attention on him, doesn't have the hype and the FOMO, and doesn't have the overpriced stuff because, he's this fresh new toy. Go find players like that, and over time, eventually, it may take a while, people will start to appreciate them for what they are, and they'll start to, like, gain more collectors and more value over time. And he's a great example of that. I love Westbrook. I think he's, he is what he is. He's not going to win. He's not a good shooter. But, man, that dude puts in the work, gives you 100% every night. A triple-double is not easy. Why is that an undervalued stat? It became why that stat has been pushed to the side? Because he made it so damn common that, like, we got numb to it. And it's like, no, dude, it's still hard to get a triple-double. Like, rebounds, assists, and points. I'm pretty sure that there's no one, I can't think of another player who's ever going to come close to this record for a long, long time. It's just a very, very difficult thing to get to. LeBron has been known as one of the best passers, rebounders, and scorers in NBA history, and he's not even close. Like, Westbrook is way better at this thing than LeBron is, so it's impressive. I love Westbrook.
Westbrook averaged like 22, 18, and 18 for a whole week.
He's also like trying to do it. He's like, he's like rebounding ferociously when it's like, all right, just let your center get the rebound.
Yeah, but they've been doing it and playing pretty good basketball.
And the Wizards, yeah, they're playing well, right? They're going to be in the play-in.
Yep, they clinched playing today. So
excellent. And Beal's good. They got two. I mean, they got two, not superstars, but they got two guys who can make it, make other teams nervous.
Absolutely. I wouldn't relish playing them in the first round, let alone in a playing game. And to bring cards into the equation, here is the 2008 Exquisite RPA of Russ. These are numbered to 225, unlike the usual 99. These are numbered to 225.
Yeah, for PSA 10. What's the pop on the PSA 10?
Pop 4.
Dude,
Pop 4.
It makes me so mad that people are paying like 80 grand for a Trae Young PSA 10 and only 25 for Westbrook. Like, Trae Young would be fucking so thrilled to have the career of Westbrook when he's done.
Yeah, and so this RPA, this Pop 4, was listed for $40K OBO, and a best offer was accepted of $25,000, which was an all-time high for Westbrook's RPA. The prior sale was a year and a half ago for $6,800. So it's also a really cool-looking RPA. I think the colors just pop, and it looks good. So Westbrook's RPA sold for $25K. The Westbrook market is hot. It's one of the markets that are going up. Let me show one more Westbrook card here. His Topps Chrome. So his Topps Chrome PSA 9 has been selling a bit. This is the all-time graph on that card. Let's set it to 6 months. So this card most recently sold for $650 yesterday. This is his Topps Chrome PSA 9. $650 is sold for yesterday. This card was selling for $175 a month before the season began. So this card is up nearly 4x.
That's not a dip. I'm confused. All cards are going down.
They're not. They're definitely not. The players who have done well this season and who have, more importantly, I think, who have exceeded expectations this season, their cards are absolutely booming right now. Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry, their cards are doing really, really well.
This year has been the last 4 months or whatever has been the realization that the market is insane and people are like not idiots. Like people like you pointed out players that are actually good and actually justify some of these jumps versus like all this money pouring into rookies and guys that haven't done anything. It's just like the market's getting smarter. That's all I gotta say. The market's getting smarter. People are realizing that you can't just buy something and make money. You actually have to like figure out who is deserving of this value and for what reasons.
Absolutely. And the other thing that's worth mentioning, one guy who continues to set all-time highs as we track his cards as well is LaMelo Ball. And his cards haven't been out for that long. So, like, his Prism color just ticks up every time it sells, and it's already at incredibly high prices. And Prism basketball in general is doing really well. And this is the first time in a year and a half that there had to be a competition between buying singles on the secondary market and buying new product and buying new players and new prospects. And so that's naturally going to split some of the money. And whereas 6 months ago, people would have been only focusing on singles, now that Prism came out and some of these new products have come out, people are focusing on, they want to know, should they invest in wax? Should they buy wax boxes of of Prism and hold those? Should they be buying LaMelo Ball cards? Should they pick up Anthony Edwards? Should they be getting the new LeBron Kobe Dunk tribute card? So this is a new thing for a lot of people who just came into the hobby within the last 12 months as well. It's just that there's suddenly a big new shiny toy that's distracting them. So these are all things worth bearing in mind too when you kind of look at the macro of the market. Okay. Another NBA question from Drake's PC, who recently appeared on Stacking Slabs today. Great episode. Drake's PC asks, which teams or players will disappoint during the NBA playoffs? And which teams or players will be a surprise? What do you think?
Ugh.
I can give one answer to this.
I'm gonna just keep riding this. I think the Nets are gonna disappoint. I think the Bucks are gonna surprise. I could be totally wrong, and the Nets have so much talent that everything I say about it, I could look like a total idiot. Like, no team has ever had this much offensive firepower, so like we just have never seen it. And I could be wrong, and I'm happy to eat that humble pie when it comes up. But I feel like the Nets are gonna disappoint, and the Bucks are gonna surprise. I don't really have much else to add to that.
I like that. That's a good one. I think the Warriors and Stephen Curry are going to disappoint.
Ouch.
Despite how good of an individual season Curry is having and how when he plays that team's like 10 or 11 games over 500, but they lose like 4. Basically, they're below 500 when he doesn't play. So like, and he will be playing in the playoffs. But if anybody, I think there's some people thinking that the Warriors are gonna make a deep run or something, or that Curry's just gonna put that whole team on his back and take them to the finals or something. And I think there will be disappointment there. And like I said, it's not to take away from a great season he's had. It's not to take away from his hobby collectability, but I think there will be disappointment there. Surprise. I think the Nuggets can surprise people. I was chatting with some people tonight who said, because it looks like the Nuggets are going to get the Trailblazers in the first round. They said the Trailblazers are going to win. And I think that could look. Here's the Nuggets' trajectory, and it has tracked Jokic's development quite well. 2 years ago, the Nuggets were a second-round exit in a 7-game series with Portland. Last year, they were a Western Conference Finals exit, going up against the champion, the Lakers. This year, Jokic is, he is the most improved player this year. Kind of, if you look at the statistical leap that he made, Julius Randle is great too, but the Randle went from good to great. Jokic went from like very good to MVP. That type of leap is so difficult to make. And the Nuggets record is better without Jamal Murray than with. And I believe their net rating is better without Jamal Murray than with. And so you might ask, how could that be? And that's because Michael Porter Jr. has stepped up and filled that offensive option number 2 role quite well. Campazzo is a pretty good little point guard. I think the Nuggets could surprise. I really think they could.
I have a surprise.
She said she wasn't going to be on tonight, but here she is.
The Hawks.
Oh, yeah?
I killed Josh.
I hope the Knicks fucking crush them.
That's going to be a great series. That's going to be a great, great series.
I don't know. A sweep isn't that exciting. Are you sure?
Okay, well, if it's a sweep, then it'll be great for a different reason.
No, I'm just kidding. I hope Trae Young has a great. That'll be so good.
I mean, I don't hope he does, but I think Bogdanovich and Reddit, like, I think the Hawks have a deep team that can surprise you if they don't get swept the first round.
Or swept.
That too.
Yeah, you know who the Bucks need? Bogdanovich. That would be fantastic.
If only they had tried to make a move to get him in the offseason or something.
No, I think I said this last week. I think Giannis is getting close to that level where people are going to start taking him for granted. he's getting close. I don't know if he's quite there yet. He's getting to that like 2009 LeBron range for me, where it's like, you sure you want to forget about Giannis? Like you could try, but like in a big game, he puts up 49 points and 15 rebounds. It's like, dude, how many times does he have to remind everyone how good Giannis is? Like, he's going to be my favorite player here very soon, I can tell. Just like the way that people turn on him, just like, oh, just build a wall. Okay, sure, yeah, whatever. Like, he's not going to be able to, like, figure something out. He's just going to forever be stuck by this wall thing, you know? It's just like, it's a cheap way to try to diminish someone and build them up and then tear them down. It's what we do over and over. And just throwing that phrase at him, it's going to start to make me mad, where it's like, all right, you know, keep doing it to him. See what happens.
Yeah, and if we really want to look at the facts here, during Giannis's 2 MVP seasons, during the first one, the Bucks went to the conference finals. They were up 2-0 on Toronto. Okay,
Yeah.
They were finals bound, and then a lot of balls didn't bounce their way. They lost. They ended up losing that series, but they were up 2-0. They were like strong favorites at that point statistically to go to the finals. They were this close to the finals. Okay. And then last year, it was the bubble. It was weird. It was a weird thing. The Milwaukee Bucks, especially, were having a lot of we're going through quite a bit, especially certain important players on that team. We're going through quite a bit during the bubble. So it's hard to make many conclusions from that. But what you do have is 3 straight seasons of Giannis basically putting up top 10, top 20 PER seasons back to back to back. And, you know, if you keep doing it long enough, you keep playing the odds over and over again, eventually the Bucks are going to get there. They're good enough to get there. They were good enough to get there 2 years ago. They're good enough to get there last year. They're good enough to get there this year, too.
And I would gently remind everyone that Michael Jordan himself, all you had to do is Jordan rules. All you got to do is be physical with him in the paint, and you can beat the Bulls. All you got to do. And all you got to do with LeBron is force him to shoot jump shots. And eventually, these mega superstars, they get better, and they come back the next year and they improve. So I'm not saying Giannis is going to be the next Jordan or LeBron, but I wouldn't discount him yet.
No, I definitely wouldn't either. Giannis is 26. Giannis is 26 years old.
And he's already past
He's maybe at the beginning of his prime.
He's already passed his 2 MVPs, and now it's like he's already at the level where he's won too much. We can't give him MVP anymore, and he's only 26.
It's kind of crazy.
You should go watch rookie highlights of Giannis. It's just insane. Like his growth. You do the Jokic thing, I'll do the Giannis thing. We'll just keep those two guys like those two guys' ascent in the NBA has just been incredible.
It's awesome. That would be a funny finals. That would be a funny finals right there. All right. Great question, Drake. Okay. Cards and Candy 911. So we have 2 like Hall of Fame related questions. Cards and Candy 911 says, why no run up on Kobe cards prior to his induction? And then Drake's PC again says, what do you expect the Kobe, Garnett, and Duncan markets to do post Hall of Fame ceremony this weekend? Will they see a bump due to the extra attention, or will prices drop due to everyone rushing to sell the news?
Oh, this is my least favorite topic. You know this, right?
I know. I didn't know that, actually.
I get really annoyed at like the really lazy takes on like, I'm going to make money just by cashing in on this Hall of Fame. Like everyone else doesn't already know that he's going to the Hall of Fame. I think that it's more likely that the supply is going to go up and the prices will go down, in my opinion. Sell the news. It's happening. Yep. Like, he's been going to the Hall of Fame for like 6 years.
Yep. I think the run-up happened 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah. Newsflash, LeBron's going to the Hall of Fame too. You might want to buy now.
Yeah. And so like what will happen, there's something a little different this time, right? Which is that the Hall of Fame is happening during an NBA season.
Yep.
So it just feels a little more relevant. It's happening during a very high impact weekend for NBA playoff determinations. So like there might be a little more energy surrounding it, but once the Hall of Fame's over, what's next? You know, there's these market spikes seem to surround big events that everybody can write down in their calendar. this is when I sell. Okay, well, what's the next big event to drive that next, that next surge in prices? There is a documentary. There could be lots of things, but with the yeah.
I just want it to be organic. I don't know how else to say it. Just if Kobe Bryant is your favorite player and you think he's highly collectible and he's got a long-term future, then buy him whenever the fuck you feel like it. Don't worry about Hall of Fame or documentaries or
Sounds easy enough to me.
think like a collector. That's how you succeed in cards. That's my secret. That's my get rich quick bullet point number 1.
Yeah. Yep. And okay, so this is kind of a sensitive thing because I was on Clubhouse the other night and a friend of mine was saying, what's going on with my Tim Duncan? My Tim Duncan paper-based PSA 10, it was over $1,600. Let me show you the graph of this card.
Okay, yeah, sure. I haven't followed Duncan's market recently.
So look at a 6-month graph, linear scale.
Whoa.
That's the chrome. We actually want to talk about the paper base. Looks similar. So here's the 1997 Topps paper base Tim Duncan PSA 10. Population 863. It peaked on February 17th at $1,650, and now it is trading regularly in the $600 to $650 range.
Mm-hmm.
However, 6 months ago it was $425.
Draw your little line across and skip. There you go.
Just fine. Ignore this part.
I mean, I don't know that I would have paid $1,300 for a paper Topps card. Anyways, so again, like you're pointing to something where there's a perceived narrative of a dip on a card that like we're just putting Duncan as the face of that dip, but like I would put the dip on that card. Like what collector is going to be like hoarding paper Topps? Like those guys are. The PMG green sold for $225,000, right? That card sold for $50,000 like a year and a half ago, and now it's sold for $225,000. It 5x'd almost. And I'm supposed to think that like Duncan cards haven't gone insane? Nah.
Yeah, and so then it really speaks to your point, which is that the way to navigate this hobby is to think like a collector. And whether you actually are an investor or a collector, if you want to find cards that are going to have strong markets, the fundamental seems to be pick cards that people are going to continue to want to own in increasing numbers year after year. And that's not going to be as easy as just, Google, what's Tim Duncan's rookie card? Buy 100 of those. Wait for Hall of Fame, If it once was that easy, this market is full of smart, sophisticated people who are going to screw up that formula. So it's tough, but it definitely seems to be one of the lessons, one of the takeaways from speculative buying surrounding a Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, I'm annoyed and frustrated for Luka collectors mostly, and I guess Zion a little bit, and like the same example here for Duncan, where it's like people are like, "Why are your Duncan cards going down? Or your Luka? Why is the Luka card going down? What did he do wrong?" So he didn't do anything wrong. He's playing great. He's like on the cusp of having another MVP type season. He's pushed the Mavs all the way up to the 5 seed out of nowhere, seemingly, right? 6 seed, whatever. And they were like, they seemed to be dead in the water a few months ago. Now they're playing amazing, and it has more to do with like the population reports, the markets, the way they're moving, the way that people are getting more intelligent with what they buy, the different collector mindsets that are coming in. There's all these different factors, and it's like, oh, is Luka playing bad? No, just that card specifically is going down because there's a fucking fuck ton of them. That's why.
Well said. Well said. Okay.
The top now, 20,000. Is it at 20,000 yet?
Good question. Let's see. Luka Prism Base PSA 10. The population is 16,862. And it is currently trading just south of $1,000.
16,000. You think there's 16,000 collectors that want to own that card?
I have no way of knowing that.
I mean, according to Gary Vee, there's like infinite people that want to own those.
Well, remember he said that there was more people who would buy the Jordan Fleer at $750,000 than there were in the population.
I have numerous friends that will just be gobbling those up at 750 grand.
That didn't pan out, but maybe those people, wised up, and I don't know. Okay.
Now those are the same people that are now like, I don't know if I can do 250. That card's on its way down. Like, you said you would have bought it at 750. I thought you.
Yeah.
Oh, so you just want to make money. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Comments are just solid tonight. Okay.
I'm trying to keep up with them.
Yeah, it's tough. Flippity Flip Cards. We've changed subject now.
All right.
Flippity Flip Cards says, I wanted to hear your thoughts on cards that are listed as obviously overpriced. Even if a card has little to no sales history, it's still like clearly overpriced. Besides pricing out most, if not all, of collectors of that player, does this practice also becoming more frequent have bigger hobby-wide implications?
Yeah, the hobby implication is that when you do that, you actually are inherently lowering the price because it's just sitting there and people are like, they know it's there, so they're less likely to go and pay the price that you want because like, oh, it'll still be there. It's too high price, and you actually like diminish the value of it if you keep listing stuff over and over, and you like get people to be sick of it, and they're like, I don't want to pay. So you actually give like a negative vibe towards your cards and towards the market of those players. So like definitely has an impact long term. I mean, devil's advocate though, like if I had something that I really didn't want to sell, I just like only sell it if someone's crazy enough to do this, and that's the scenario that's playing out. It's like, I don't really want to sell it, but I like to just have it up on eBay just in case someone really, really wants it, or the market jumps and I don't have to reset the price or something. I can see why people would do it that way, but it does kind of look bad for the market for those cards.
Yeah, definitely. It also is not a great selling practice because you'll quickly earn a reputation. And then even if you do come around and price your items reasonably in the near future, people are like, well, that's probably too high if that's what this guy wants for it. So there's a balancing act there. But by the same token, I don't have any problem with somebody pricing their own item at their price. That is their prerogative. And hobby-wide implications, man, I don't know. I think Josh said it pretty well. Okay. Kings Angels 22. Sorry if you guys touched on this on a previous episode, but what are your thoughts on a seller disclosing condition issues with the card that is already graded, whether on the card or the slab? I bought a card recently that had water damage and it was not visible in the pics. I still kept the card. It was only $20, so not a big deal, but I can see that if this was a high-dollar card, it would be a problem. Wax Museum podcast touch on this. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks. I appreciate all you guys do for the hobby.
Well, I'll be the first to admit, like, when I see a PSA 10 or 9.5, I just, I don't really ask many questions about condition, especially at BGS. I see the subgrades, and I'm like, yep, good enough for me. I'm buying it, right? And that's kind of the whole point of graded cards is like confidence in buying it at the price and the condition. But with this whole new thing popping up about, sending it in and having them regrade it stuff, you got to take a little extra care with it, It's just like another thing that we have to educate ourselves on and evolve and adjust to these new parameters that have been given to us and ask more questions. It's just kind of the reality. I think, to me, I generally try to buy cards from people or sources that I trust. Like, I know that if I'm buying a PSA 10 from a PWCC auction or I'm buying it from a friend, like, they would tell me if there was water damage to it, right? Like, that, you know, or if they didn't, then I would just quickly return it. But if it's someone I don't know or doesn't have good feedback on eBay or whatever the case is, then I might, you know, start to adjust and prod more and ask more questions about it.
Yeah, can't take your cards boating anymore.
Yeah.
That's very true. Also, you know, a new spotlight has been put on reslab policies, right? And so that makes it even more important to really inspect the condition of the card independent of the grade that the grading company assigned it. So yeah, I think it's really important for sellers to disclose stuff like that. I think people are now more conscientious than ever about buying a slab if it has a crack in it or a ding in it or something, because they know that if there's a chance it gets regraded upon reslabbing. So yeah, it is very important to be transparent with the condition of the slab itself and with the condition of the card in the slab. It's and you know, to sellers' credit, I see a lot of sales come in on eBay where sellers do that. They do exactly that. I saw a sale come in the other night that was like, it was a PSA 10 and it said the title said read, and then I went and I looked at the item description and the seller was explaining that this particular item, it's a PSA 10, but there's a dimple on the front at the top right.
Yeah.
And that's a great practice.
Sellers have to do that because the buyer wins every time in those cases, and it's just not it's not worth it to you as a seller to try to sneak it past. It's not going to work. Like, you can't sneak. You're going to lose. You're going to have to do a return. And you're going to lose more money. You might as well just like be upfront.
And that's why the harmony of eBay and auction houses is pleasing, because auction houses market and orient their service towards consigners. They're trying to get the biggest ticket items and show those consigners that they get the best money and they protect their consigners. But eBay is very oriented towards protecting the buyer and incentivizing the buyer to come and use their platform. And so auction houses and eBay, you bring those to the auction house favors the seller, eBay favors the buyer, and it's gonna balance itself out, even itself out. That's why it's really a fortuitous situation that eBay is in fact the platform that auction houses list on.
I wanted to. Sorry.
Dave says when eBay listing title says read, that's your cue to move along every time.
That's true. It's always all caps read, isn't it?
Yes.
I was gonna say something semi super tiny rant. You know how
rant.
You know how everybody likes to bitch about all the things going wrong with all these little things, and the bitching is getting more specific as we go because a lot of the problems are being solved, but nobody's circling back to like praise the problems being solved. So like the bitching is getting very, very, very specific to like, oh, well, this one time this one guy bought a card and it had water damage and he got fucked. And it's like, that's 1 out of like 7 billion PSA cards that have been, you know what I mean? And I want to turn around and say like, dude, it keeps getting easier and easier and easier to like buy cards and feel confident in it and like pay the right price with the right research and the tools, and it's been graded properly by a company and it's shipped to you in 2 days and the insurance was cheaper than it used to be, and you know, it's just like I feel like it keeps getting better for me, at least. Like I'm able to buy cards that I want to buy and I'm able to find them and I'm able to get the right price and do the research and trust the grade that I get, et cetera, et cetera. As time goes on, that keeps getting better for me. But everyone keeps trying to build this thing where it's like somehow it's getting worse. It's definitely not.
Excellent point. When the best we can do when levying constructive criticism is to point out very specific examples of very specific things going wrong in very unusual circumstances. The in between the lines there is that everything else is going really damn well, and our problems are becoming more and more niche, and that's good news. That's very good. So nice take, very nice take. All right, that brings us to exactly 1 hour. So the chat is really lively though. The chat is just on fire right now. I don't even feel good terminating this stream and making people restart.
People are getting ornery in here.
People are going off in this chat. I don't know. This chat has been more lively than usual in months. I haven't seen the chat on fire like this in months.
Dude, I'll say it one more time though before you close it. The people, the market, the collectors, everyone's getting smarter. And I just said it, like things are improving. People are getting smarter. People know what to say now. They know how to treat different dips and rises. Like we've seen all these things a few times over now. So we're all getting smarter at it. And like the comments in our chats are getting smarter. They know what we are going to be talking about. So like everything's getting more and more optimized and better.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we'll be back with hour 2.
Yeah.
Boom. We have a great hour 2 question. Maybe the best hour 2 question of all time.
Wow.
But I should save it for the last 30 minutes because there's still lots of other stuff to get through here.
What'd you do that for? Jeez, man. Way to tease it, and then
I know. It's a huge tease.
like it's the best because it's very specific to hour 2, or like it's contextual to what's going on right now, or
It's the quintessential hour 2 question.
okay. So something about The
Pure
Office,
hour 2.
and it's like Justin Timberlake making a cameo appearance on The Office or something.
You're not far off.
Oh,
You're not
sweet.
far off at all. Okay. But let me see if I can go through some more of these here.
Your studies.
So this one comes from MXP Fernandez, great guy. He says, from a Target parking lot crime about sports cards, now a nationwide news of Target stopping sales of sports cards. And let me show the news story here. This is from Yahoo. Target halted sales of trading cards, including Pokemon, over safety concerns. Target said it will temporarily stop selling trading cards after a fight in Wisconsin. Spokesperson from Target said they will temporarily suspend selling cards in their stores due to safety. Last week, a man was injured. We know that story. So yeah, Target is no longer selling cards, at least for a little while.
Yeah,
And that's not a great outcome. Panini can't be pleased about that. Kids and people who just like buying cars can't be pleased about that, but let's not kid ourselves. The flippers can't be pleased about that. The distributors can't be pleased about that. It's kind of the worst case outcome. It seems to me that an easier solution would just be renegotiating the contracts and raising the price on the boxes so that the margins aren't there anymore, but I don't know.
I hate all that stuff. I hate this situation. I hate that this is happening. And it's obviously happening because of greed and, grown adults waiting 4 hours in line to take cards that were meant for kids and making money off them. But I get it. That's how the market works. This is how capitalism works. When there's money to be made, there's going to be people in line to make free money. And literally that's what's happening. And eventually it's going to boil over into – this happened in sneakers, same kind of thing. People wait in lines, and eventually like fights broke out and people died, and it's obviously really bad. And, Target and Panini and these companies have to do something about it. So this is what they've come up with, Target at least in this case. So hopefully we can pause on it and get back to a place where retail is just that, and it's retail, and it's not meant for flipping and money making. It's meant for people who just want to open cheap product and have fun. I wish that's all it was.
Agreed. Long Island Sports Card says there's a price increase coming for retail in August, so that would be good.
I also heard that they're going to still try and sell it online.
Yeah, I heard that as well. And Collectibles Cards Clutter asks, who decides those cards were for kids? Walmart sells coupons too. Are those for kids?
No, I mean, it's obviously not just for kids. There's adults that want to open cheap stuff for fun. I think it's more just that like that is kind of the only place that kids can afford, and that's like, so like where do they go now? They're
the entry level products.
Thinking about the kids.
Yeah, they're blaster boxes and hangers. They're supposed to be $20 a pop as opposed to $300 to $500 hobby boxes or whatever the equivalent is to those. So, all right. Cards and Candy 911 says, does being involved in daily fantasy help with sports cards? And if so, who are the top daily fantasy / card people to follow on Instagram?
It does not help. It makes you overreact because cards don't move in that manner. People have tried to make it that way, and even I've been one to say like fantasy sports could lend itself to the sports card community and like the gambling aspect of it, but even still, I meant more of like the attachment to the individuals and like the idea of like, you know, I own this player, he's on my team, I'm the coach or the manager. So people get infatuated with skill position players and certain specific types of players. So like that sort of love and attachment to those players could trickle over into collecting them and their cards. That was my take. The daily fantasy is too much. Like cards, it's a different paradigm. It doesn't really move in that sense, especially lately. Like we're seeing that cards aren't really meant to be treated as like this day trading thing, and they're meant to be collected, and we're kind of seeing the fruits of that bear out. So I don't think so.
Definitely. Good. We have a sports cards culture episode that talks about some of the traits that help collectors, and we talk about that in more depth. So if that's a topic of interest, there's a sports cards culture episode about 1 or 2 ago that talks about that topic even more.
It's like, sorry, one more. It was like, I collect Russell Westbrook, specific rare cards, and it's like, oh, he had a triple-double last night. I'm not sure how that really, like, that helps your daily fantasy, but I don't see how that helps that one specific game. I don't see how that helps your collection in any way.
Yeah, it can a big game, like a player's like first breakout game,
Sure.
if it happens early enough in their career, can catalyze a reset of their market. Like I remember it happened with Trae Young. I remember it happening with Giannis sort of during that first MVP season playoff run. Remember it happening with Kevin Porter Jr. this year. But it's often a blip. It's not a long-term thing unless the player sustains play at that level. So, yeah.
And daily fantasy is more about like the averages of someone, like what you can expect from them on this given day, given all the circumstances, and not so much, you're like gambling on them having a monster breakout game where their cards triple. I don't know. It just seems different to me.
Yeah, and sports cards are about fandom, I think. And fandom does relate to statistical achievement, but fandom encompasses more than that. Fandom encompasses cultural impact, narratives, media, team that you play for, historical context, likability.
And fantasy sports adds to that. Like specific players have a very strong connection to people because of their contributions to fantasy. So like Jamal Charles is a well-known fantasy football player, not so much in the actual football fan world, but like people have a lot of affinity towards Jamal Charles because of what he did for their fantasy world. So I think that lends itself to adding to collectability.
Absolutely. Nick's Basketball PC says, are there any iconic sets like Prism that you don't actually like the look of?
Prism? I don't like Prism.
I like that question.
I don't like Prism. Okay. I think it's like way. I don't know. I know you like this year's. I don't like it. I've never liked Prism.
I do like.
Was it Anthony Edwards is like turning back? I don't know. It's just so weird to me. Like okay. Zion holding the ball. I know it's optic, but like they're just silly to me.
In Cardboard Veritas says, the hobby has brought me so much joy and engagement since getting back in a year ago. Finding treasures, winning auctions, mail days, grades popping, learning from the hobby vets, transacting with great people, the richness of holding an 80-year-old card in hand.
Yes.
Bonding time. It's been awesome. Can you guys talk about what it is about the hobby that brings each of you the most joy and fulfillment?
Was that it? Was that the best question ever?
No, that's a good one, though.
That's a really good question.
That's a good question, yeah.
I hope that person that was great. I was just going. We're going. That was fantastic. Everything that person said, all that stuff is great.
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
I think the only thing that I would add is just like the friends I've made, the people that the people that now are like, we're such close friends that we can just, shit on each other on a live, and I can just make fun of Rodman for not going to Dallas. That's where we are.
100%. 100%. Yeah, in Cardboard Veritas, you nailed a whole bunch of the good reasons, man. A couple of things on F1 cards, and Just Card or J Sut Card says F1 cards, and Cars and Candy says, does Lameme have the Grim Reaper meme ready for F1? I don't know a ton about F1, but I do bring this up because we are now tracking Lewis Hamilton stuff.
Yeah.
So we're tracking some Lewis Hamilton cards, his Topps now, and his Topps Chrome rookie cards. So, that's a way to keep an eye on that market. But beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah, if you really like F1, which I do, I think F1's sick. I'm really enjoying the sport. And let's say that I wanted to get into collecting the cards, which I'm not. But let's say I was, and I liked F1 so much that I'm like, I really like this new concept of collecting cards. I want to get into it. Go to Card Ladder, look up all these F1 cards, see that they've gone up crazy in price, and tell yourself, don't buy right now. It's too high. It will come back down. Have patience.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Just want to put this on the radar. You and I don't really do a lot of buying from COMC. But Cardporn says, is there anything we can do to help with COMC's turnaround times, or do we have to stop buying cards from COMC until they sort out their issues? So I don't know. I don't have an answer to that, but I did just want to raise the topic it's a topic that somebody cared about and just put it into people's minds.
I guess it's similar to PSA in that, you just have to change your expectation of what you get from them, and just change what you do accordingly. So with PSA, don't send them as much cheap base Prism stuff because you're just not going to get the return anymore. You're going to have to wait. It's just not worth it. Same with the COMC. Don't send them as much of this super cheap 50-cent cards because the margins aren't going to be there given the time constraints, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess do your part in understanding what they're going through and adjust your expectation.
Definitely. Mostly 90s basketball card says, have either of you ever considered starting a new collecting goal that would include a wider variety of players? For example, or that is Stacking Slabs Galactic Journey.
Like set collecting?
Yeah, set collecting, or I could take it that way, or just take it, just at face value, just starting a collection that includes a wider variety of players.
Yeah, I've thought about, I've been tempted so many times to start a Aaron Rodgers PC, Russell Westbrook PC, Tim Duncan. There's a bunch of guys that I just feel like I think that would just be really fun to build a piece. Jamal Charles apparently now, I put that into the ether. He was just one of my favorite fantasy players. LaShawn McCoy. There's so many guys that I'm like, man, I wish I had infinite money and I just build a sick PC of all these guys. So yeah, I've thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't appeal to me very much. I like just having a few players and going into depth into their collections and getting into all the different types of cards they have.
Yeah. All their second year 101s and shit.
Yeah, of obscure product. Okay, so Stacking Slabs. Brett, Stacking Slabs says, the assist is one of the greatest things we can give and receive in the hobby, but it doesn't get much airtime. This has come into play in my content and other content I consume recently. Examples include Josh's Galactic to Grant, California Card Collectors, Marvin PMG for me, Mikey Sports Cards, 2012 Gold Peyton Prism for Drake's PC. I'd love to hear you and Josh discuss the art of the assist and any stories that follow.
This is a great question. I think the assist is very, very important to the long term, to the longevity of the hobby. These little one-off moments, kind of add up to a bigger thing in the hobby. And if it keeps happening, people are more likely to stay. They're more likely to be happy about the community that they're in. I think that's just a general good goodwill sense of the hobby, and I think it's important. But you also, as an individual, have to be ready to do that good deed without the praise. Like, you have to do it with, like, assuming that you're not going to get any praise for it. You just do it because you want to and you feel good about it. Like, I love the assist in the private DMs. Like, I try to give as many of those assists as I can, whether it's like giving some extra knowledge or making someone's day with card ladder, giving them a feature they've been asking for, or, you adding a card for them. Like, those little assists that we can do for people. I think, we can't do them infinitely all day long every day, but it's nice to do it every once in a while. And it definitely makes me feel better to do it, It gives me joy, so I like to do it. And I don't expect people to make stories and post these big parades in my honor because of it. And so I think if you go into it with that mindset, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. And, to me, it just boils down to, making somebody's day a little better, doing something that'll make somebody happy, being generous when it's reasonable and time permits. I think those are just great lessons for life in general. And cards is just one avenue that there's lots of really obvious ways that we can do that. But it is good to think like that because, like, here's the thing. Lots of people in cards is really like an alter ego. It's this other world. They escape their family life, their work life, their friend life. And so everybody is Warren Buffett. Everybody's hot shit in the hobby because, this is their total kingdom. This is their kingdom. And so
everyone's Batman.
And so sometimes it can be really tricky or difficult to remember, hey, the principles that apply in everyday life still apply here. Interpersonal skills, networking, the whole nine, all those things can still, work out quite well.
One of my favorite things is when people DM me assuming that I'm, either going to like not respond or that I'm some like corporate card ladder guy, and I respond with like a normal human reaction, some friendly quip or some joke or something, and they're like, "Whoa, you're like a normal guy in the DMs." I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's like we're just normal guys, talking shit about cards."
100%. So yeah, the assist is great. And there is some art to it. Don't be overbearing with it, right? Be gracious, just like anything else. Just like anything. I don't know.
Publius is all over the chat whenever I say something weird. You're a corporate card ladder guy. I try to get the cool analogies, and sometimes they get weird. So.
Okay, good. Great question, Brett, as usual. Everybody, make sure you're subscribed, please, to the weekly RIP newsletter of Brett's and the Stacking Slabs podcast. Top tier hobby content. Okay, 12:25. All right. All right. So I still have a few more questions here, but I think it's time.
Yep.
To get to the question.
Go. Don't look at her.
This comes from Say Hey Cards.
Oh, yes. All right.
This comes from Say Hey Cards. And it goes like this. Hour 2. Help me come up with hobby-centric plot lines for an episode of The Office, and I will write a script for the Card Ladder blog.
Oh, dude. He still has my all-time favorite Card Ladder blog entry with that Nicole Kidman. Remember that thing?
Yes. Yeah, that was great.
If he wrote one for The Office, I would just, like.
So he sent me this in a DM, DM, and the first one said Dwight. This is his first idea. He said Dwight pepper sprays someone waiting in a Target line. Target stopped selling the product. And then Christina came back and said, Michael overpays for a Deshaun Watson card, which I thought was pretty good.
I was also thinking of, did you watch this one already where Michael gets duped by the pyramid scheme and Jim like draws the pyramid? There's got to be some like card analogy to like getting duped by a scammer, or Michael getting duped by a scam.
Michael Scott tries to pay for the kids' college fund by flipping Donruss basketball. Yep, that's good. That's good.
You haven't gotten that far yet, have you, Michael? In the college kids thing, Mike got tots.
No, he's not there yet.
I'm not there yet.
Christina's like, nope, shut up. He's not there.
And James has been developing some serious plot lines here. I didn't see that he sent me these.
I would say to James, the weirder and further out you get from reality, the better it's going to be.
Okay. South says, Kevin finds cards in his dad's attic, and Dwight is the card expert who then convinces Michael to start a mutual fund for sports card investing. Nice.
It's got to be something with Michael getting duped. I feel like that's got to be at least a small part of it.
So true. Dunder Mifflin pivots into a grading company as paper demand weakens.
That was really good. That was really good.
Grading cards. What else do we have here? Michael overpays after finding out about the controversy, thinking it's a positive thing. True.
Did you watch the one where Michael is trying to buy the condo and like Dwight's like, I don't know, remember that? And this is they're doing the Olympics back at the office, and it's all about Michael like overpaying for this condo, and then he's like leaning on the oven, and the oven thing like comes apart, and he's like, oh no, what's wrong with this place? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, he starts panicking. And then he sells that condo on eBay eventually.
He's like, I might have to, take a negative feedback on this. So well.
Okay. Michael mortgages his condo for sports cards and buys reprints from Gary Vee. That's good.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Ken Golden dupes Dwight out of an old plow which used to belong to Babe Ruth.
I'm also thinking of the one where Dwight goes to work for Staples because him and Michael have an argument. So something with like Dwight going to work for, BGS or something in Dunder Mifflin's PSA. I'm not sure. There's so many directions you could take it.
Ryan creates a fractional card site, but only buys base cards. Good.
What are the rules of business? They're in the back of the car, like going through the different rules of business.
After Ryan started the fire.
Yeah. Kevin runs breaks in the break room. Good. Kevin would definitely be a breaker. I agree with that.
Yeah, the break. He's always he's the gambler of the guys. So that makes sense.
PSA is kind of like Dunder Mifflin already. Interesting, my friend. I'd like to hear more about that. Panini wants to use Dunder Mifflin paper for their cards. Yeah, right. Definitely. That would be. I'm
trying to think of a Jim thing, because Jim is like the one that's like critical of the corporate life and rolls his eyes and stuff. What does Jim think about the card world? He's probably
what prank could he pull?
Oh, or a prank.
Michael sends his Tim Duncan Chrome rookie to PSA, and it goes from a 10 to a 5. So him, Dwight, and Jim road trip to PSA to take back their gift basket. Good. Very good. Very good. Dwight works at Walmart and scams blasters. Yeah.
Dwight adds a card-themed room to his B&B. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, you're right. That was a great question. Good job, James. I will now be like literally begging him to write this article.
Do you want to hear, like, he wrote 2 paragraphs of ideas. Do you want to hear them?
Of course.
All right. Nat opens a PSA office in Scranton. They use the same building as Dunder Mifflin. In an attempt to show off and befriend Nat, Michael accidentally destroys his Jordan PMG green in the baler, which he knows he's not supposed to touch. Daryl is pissed. Kelly hits on Nat to make Ryan jealous, which he naturally is. Ryan goes on blowout to flame PSA. Creed is shown impersonating a PSA worker, accepting a FedEx package that he puts in the trunk of his car. And then after the credits scene, Nat is shown talking to the camera. He admits that Jordan was a fake, but he keeps it around in case someone he doesn't trust asks to hold it.
Oh, gosh.
That's good. That's fucking deep. And then he also says, Panini hires Dunder Mifflin to provide paper stock for Prism basketball. Pam wins a design contest and gets one of her designs in the product, the LeBron, whose image is widely panned as being too small. Trey Young's cards are printed with a watermark of farm animals having sex, and it actually increases their market value. That's
you see what the South Park card said? Michael is being Stanley is the card expert like he did playing basketball, so he gives him $50K to invest and he buys Miles Turner cards.
That's great.
Mo waits in line at Target after they remove cards from the shelves, and he remains in line for a week.
Make sure you read them, because if James isn't on, he's not going to be able to just read the comments.
Yeah, no, we are. We're reading.
Okay.
Yeah, this is great. This is such a good topic.
That's pretty good.
Great topic. Timely topic, James.
Where are you at? You're on season 4?
Season 4.
Power through, my friend.
Yeah, Ryan just introduced the new website.
Dunder Mifflin's website.
Yeah, Dunder Mifflin Infinity.
And then he's like, and then an older gentleman comes along and says, boxers or briefs.
Have I gotten to that part yet? No, I haven't gotten to that part yet. I don't get that one yet.
You will.
Yeah, I love that show though. That's
Oh, Vance grading. There you go.
that's good. That's I cannot wait for that blog post will be.
That's one where when it goes live, I'm putting down whatever I'm doing, right? Putting aside my phone, turning off all things, and just gonna read that.
I feel like we're gonna have to act it out at National and do a live skit or something. We'll cast people in it.
Oh,
That would be taking hobby content to another level.
I think it would be amazing.
I think eventually people are gonna be like, all right, just maybe stop now. Stop with this whole thing.
Yeah, it can definitely run its course. Okay.
You gotta have Meredith flashing that.
For anyone that's watched all of Office, you know that we're not overplaying this. So that's all I'll say.
Good. Okay. Michael spends Jan's life savings on Jackson Hayes. Okay. All right. Good.
Jackson.
Excuse me. Okay. Nice looking cardboard had a question for us.
All right.
Hour 2 question, mate. What card in Josh's PC would you like, and what card from your PC are you offering as a trade, and vice versa for Josh?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I should have thought about that question more because I knew it was coming.
I already know which one I want from your PC, and I think you know.
I know.
Really?
Who knows?
When you guys were here, I was really eyeballing it and you sure that you want to leave with this?
Oh.
I was it got weird probably. I was hold on a second. What? Just aren't you guys gonna go check out my backyard and I'll just pocket this while you're gone?
I don't remember which card that was.
98.99 rubies.
Rubies. Yeah. Rubies is a sweet one.
I just love I love Jordan's his pose on that card, and I love the gold. That card is so sick.
Yeah.
You thought I meant the Luka something or other? No.
No, I thought you were going for the LeBron Prism Gold.
That's what I figured she thought that you were thinking. No.
I like that card.
No.
I know, but you could have mocked it with your gold rookie and
No.
flipped it or sold it.
I'm not
That's
that
not the spirit of this question.
That is not me. How dare you even think that would be something like that?
You wouldn't mock the 18 Prism Gold with your.
Okay, you
No.
said you weren't even going to be on this episode.
She can't
All
help
right.
it.
No, she can't.
All right.
Okay, and then it's such a silly one. I'm obviously my first pick is the Topps Chrome Gold, but like
Which one?
That's such an obvious one. The rookie year. That's such an obvious one. You know, there's nothing extremely clever about that one. But my other one is the PMG green, just because. God, when will I ever have a chance to own a PMG green? So one of that would be those two. I think those would be the first two I would try to trade for. Good question, Matt.
I'm trying to think what I'd trade for that 98-99 Rubies. I would get pretty serious if you wanted to trade that, which you don't. So I wouldn't actually try. But if you did, I might throw at you like one of my like the 08 Topps Chrome, like the Chalk Toss. I feel like I could entice you with something like that, and they're pretty equal value. You know, PSA 10 and yours being a more rare, or not more rare, but like the same rarity, but like, you know, a little bit higher value. I feel like that was a pretty fair trade.
Yeah, I really like the Chalk Toss Gold a lot. That's a sweet card. Yeah.
It's so hard to trade. Trading, I hate trading. I can't do it. I'm like,
I can't do trading either.
I'm like, this is a fair trade. I like your card, but no, sorry, I like mine better. No.
Exactly. Collectibles Cards Clutter says, take the finest gold RC because he loves it the most. Just take the man's favorite card.
Nah.
Oh, no.
That's the one
That's
card
not the
where
right reason.
that's the one card where, like, you know, everyone has a card where like you just can't trade for it because it already is, like, I would have traded anything to get this card, so why would I ever trade it away, you know?
Yep, that's very true. You know, the Topps Chrome Gold LeBron rookie year, when was the last time one of those sold? It's been a long time.
The 9.5 sold at Golden.
Oh,
Kinda
last
recently.
winter, right? Before the, yeah. Yep, that would be the last sale.
That one has the most sentimental meaning to me.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Penny Hardaway is the PMG green.
Oh, that one's sick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I would trade you. Yeah, what would you offer up in trade for the PMG green? Like, you wouldn't actually, but like just play the scenario out of like trying to match up values or something.
Maybe like the gold embossed refractor out of 74, 9.5 or
Oh
something.
yeah,
I don't know.
that's
That's not really a card that you like though, so that's what. But I don't know. Those might be equivalent. I don't know. A PMG green after a Tim Duncan does $250,000. It's just like, is that? I don't know how to price that penny. That card might be strong six figures by this point. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the embossed. There's certain cards where like you don't like them initially, and then you start to like they kind of like build a little bit of allure to them. Of like you couldn't have owned them all these years, and you just keep seeing it, and you're like, God, I don't like it, but it's just really hard to get it, and now I kind of want it. Like that's been RPAs for me. Like I didn't like them at first, and then they like they were hard to acquire, and it's like, nah, I kind of like them.
Yep, that'll do it. That will do it, man. Especially, just kind of circle back to a question we had earlier about like, you know, why are these commodity cards keep on going down? If I can log on eBay and there's 200 copies at any given time, how does that just doesn't appeal to any collector sense in me whatsoever. That's just if I can just
Play hard to get.
I don't know.
Play hard to get, man. It's a really great dating strategy, and it's also a great.
Yeah, exactly. Cards, they do become more enticing when it becomes clear that other people would rather own them than sell them. And then that makes you want one even more.
Yeah.
Ooh, Marbury 3 says, you grow out of some grails with time. Do you find that to be true? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can think about that in two scenarios. One is like there's a card that you haven't owned and it's been your grail, and then like eventually maybe you're just like, nah, actually now that I've sat with it for a couple years, I don't want to own that much. Maybe because the price has changed, or you've grown out of it or whatever. Cards that you own, it's harder to say that you grow out of it because you're prideful and you don't want to admit that, like, you bought something and you spent all this time and energy getting to it, and then now you don't like it. It's really hard to get over that hump mentally. It'd be like me admitting something that I've been preaching for so long that I wanted it. It's kind of awkward, but I can see what he's saying. I can't think of anything specific for me, like where I've spent a bunch of time and energy and money on it, and then later sold it because I realized I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah. I can't really say I've ever had that happen. But I did grow out of inserts. And like, but I don't know. I could see it happening, I guess.
You're like, I don't like the red PMG as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, that was the first car I thought about. I was like, well, I've had that for almost 3 years now.
Damn.
Has that even worn? It hasn't even worn on me whatsoever. It's still like, the other thing too, Grails, to me, one of the definitions of a Grail is a card that I really have no business owning, but I somehow got it.
Yes.
And cards like that are very, very hard to let go of or sell because you just think about, I shouldn't have this, but I do.
Well, it's because if you sell it, you're definitely not getting it back.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, if I sold like 4 or 5 of my cards, there's like there's zero chance I'd ever get it back because of all things considered. It's like you got to think long and hard before selling that thing.
Yeah, you do. That's a life-changing.
Dude, there are some cards though, collectibles cards clutter, where I really built it up and then I got it in hand and I was like, really? The Playmakers Theater, man, I like really built that card up and I got it in hand and I actually met the person I got it from in person and he handed it to me and I was like, it was so awkward. I was like, really? This card sucks. I sold it like 2 months later. I felt bad, but it's like, this card sucks.
Yeah, they can't all be winners, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have a good track. 90s has a very good track record.
You don't like Playmakers Theater, right?
I don't like I don't like Playmakers Theater.
Oh, well, you do. You've always wanted the Jordan Playmaker Theater,
Yeah,
right?
I would definitely take the Jordan PMT. It wouldn't be like it wouldn't be the first Grail, and it wouldn't stand on its own. But like in the context of lots of other shiny ones, I think it would play well.
You're gonna be disappointed.
Okay.
Sorry,
Mostly-
Marbury 3. Marbury 3 just got a PMT and he's now mad at me. Sorry.
Maybe you'll like it though. Lots of people like it.
Yeah.
Mostly 90s basketball says, which marketplaces and auction houses are you checking on a regular basis?
Well, if you're asking us, all of them, we have to. It's our job.
That's true. That's very true. I was trying to think about how to answer this question. Like
I've been
when I would check, but
recently it's been MySlabs because they just redid their UI. Shout out to the MySlabs team. The UI looks a lot nicer and it's a lot more user friendly. So I've been looking at their stuff a lot more recently, and then the PWCC Premier auction just because it's new and I'm trying to get a handle on it.
Nice. Jeremy says the football Playmaker theaters are much nicer than the basketball. Interesting.
They're kind of like silverish instead of gold, I think.
That's cool. That's very cool. Okay.
Yeah, no offense to my PMT friends, but there's also like a red like bleed on the cards.
Yes, there is.
I still don't understand what that is.
When I first encountered a copy of that card, I messaged the seller. I was like, "What's this smear on the card?"
Yeah, it's really weird, man. I'm a gold shiny guy, and I got it, and it's gold, and it's not shiny. So I'm like, what's wrong? What happened? What did they do? What happened here?
Yep, totally. I think you definitely have to check Golden. Anytime they have an elite auction ending, not even to buy, just to keep an eye on where prices are going and what people are selling. And PWCC's Premier is probably going to be something worth checking. But eBay, man, eBay's where it's at. I don't know why we keep trying to make this harder than it is. It's got a lot of advantages. It's a much more advanced marketplace than anything else out there, and it's not even close. So eBay is still the marketplace to check, in my opinion. Publius says, please delete this blasphemy from the archives. I don't want this PMT bashing on record. Okay, so there's so Collectibles Cards Clutter says, is the greatest hour 2 question of all time mine about people not taking pictures of the back of cards on eBay being horrible people? I feel like every minute it goes unanswered, the odds increase. No, you are right. People should have front and back photos, including you, Probstein.
That annoys the shit out of me when it's like a card that I really, really want, and I click the picture before I know how many there are, and I go to swipe and there's only one. I'm like, are you kidding me? There could be damage on the back of this. Where's the back?
Yep. Dude, there are so many Kobe's in this golden auction. I think one of the coolest Kobe's I've ever seen is in this auction.
Show us the giant. Put your hand on it and show us.
Okay, I will. Hold on. What the hell? Oh, Kobe Flair Showcase. And here it is.
What?
Yes. The 1997-98 Row 1 Masterpiece 1 of 1. That's so freaking cool. It's a 1 of 1. It's a 9.5. Love the design. Just a badass card. You might never see that card. Well, two things will happen. You might never see that card again, or it will be fractionalized, broken into shares, and you will hear about it quite a bit. One of those two different things will happen.
Or it will be like the Nebula, and you'll see it 6 auctions in a row.
That could definitely happen too.
The other 101 Kobe that's in there's another Flair Showcase 101. That one's been sold publicly like 3 times in the last year.
Wow.
That's on the PWCC Premier though.
Oh. There was one Kobe in the PWCC Premier that I was looking at, but it's already too high. Actually, Golden has one and PWCC has one.
Everyone has one.
Okay. Looking at PWCC's.
I think the Jordan PSA 10 is going to go down more.
Yeah, I mean, if the trajectory of the other grades are any indicator, it still has quite a ways to go before it gets back to its late December prices. Yep.
They're all hovering at like 240 right now because we went from we had like a little bit of an uptick to 450 or whatever, and then that Heritage one went to 350, right?
Yep.
I think we're going to get down to 300 here soon.
Totally. I could very much see that happening. Yeah, but yeah. I don't know. Okay. That was that question. Checking marketplaces. Last question from Casey Flex. This year's basketball Donruss Net Marbles insert set has not received favorable PSA grades. They don't appear well centered. Of the 28 graded, only 1 10 has been awarded, 12 9s, and the rest are 8s, 7s, and 6s. Does this say more about Panini's quality control or PSA's grading standards?
Publius said, my analysts are telling me the Jordan Flares, that's a Wolf of Wall Street. I love that stuff. But all the quotes from Wolf of Wall Street make me laugh. My analysts are telling me that you're going to make a substantial amount of money. I think it's more of PSA.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just hearing too many stories. I actually got a big PSA order back this week, and I don't know if this is just me getting lucky or whatever, but I feel like my gem rate is definitely lower than what I used to get, but it's still not too terrible. I'm not trying to like brag or anything. I'm trying to produce some other side of the coin report here, because where everyone's just posting all their like super horrible, gem rates of 5%. Mine was not too horrible, so I don't know if it's quite as dramatic as everyone's making out to be, but it's definitely, the gem rates are definitely down.
Yeah, I agree. Although maybe this set in particular does have some condition issues.
You know the Net Marvels set better than me. What do you think?
I don't own any from this year, so I don't know. I was outbid by Leor of Alt.
It wasn't a bid; it was offered.
Or out offered for the Luca 1 of 1. Do you remember that? Because Christina and I were like right on the border of paying $10,000 or something for it, and you were like, "Don't do that." And I agreed.
You're welcome.
Somebody did pay $10,000 for it, and now it's a PSA 7. So
PSA 7? Oh my god.
Not regretting that one at all. I think we'll be perfectly content with just having the one we have. Yep.
Did he cross it from a BGS 9.5 to a PSA 7?
He probably did.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't buy that.
Yeah, I don't regret it not having it at all. Not even slightly.
Don't those Net Marvels have like white borders? They should be easier, right? Easier-ish. Or maybe they got like dimples in the back or something. Some of those Panini sets have like a ton of those print lines on the back. Like Select is really notorious for having horrible print lines on the back. So maybe there's some of that going on. Oh, they got the blue edges. Okay, yeah. Never mind. Don't ask me my opinion on that card. Christina's gonna get mad at me.
I actually don't like this design.
Okay.
Obviously, like if I really was obsessed with this card, that person would not have gotten it. Let's just say it that way.
I have this thing about smiling on cards. It really bothers me.
Well, I think that was like the best part of last year was like they were all like yelling in their photos.
They're superheroes. Superheroes don't smile. They have a job to do.
Yeah, and like this one, it's all like congratulatory. Like it seems. I don't know.
Do you really want like, I don't know, you look to your athletes for like their strength and determination. I don't really want them being like, oh, hi.
Well, it's a good thing we didn't get it, because if we did, then I would have had to have the 1 of 1 for every year moving forward. Because I'm that OCD person. So, like, it's good that we just have the first year.
We broke the habit before it could start.
Exactly.
You still have the rookie 1 of 1 Marvel?
It's actually his second year, but it's Marvel's his rookie.
Yeah, it's the first year of Marvels. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. Yeah. So we got through a lot of questions today. That was good.
You guys are the king of oddball 1-on-1s.
Trying to be. But it's just not anymore. When they were $400 to $500,
yeah,
sweet. When they're like $5,000, nah, I'm good.
Chris, are you gonna clean up for the show tomorrow?
Yes.
You're looking a little
we had a schedule. I was like, I need a shave. She was like, should we do it tonight or tomorrow? I was like, I'm doing it tomorrow morning. I will put it off until the last second.
I got the haircut for Dallas next week. I need a week to let it settle, you know.
It grows in naturally. Yeah, I got you. Red carpet ready.
Let me look at my best. I'm gonna be wearing my nicest card ladder shirt, some nice pants. It's gonna be good. Is it gonna be hot in Dallas? What's the weather?
Yeah, I think it was forecasted to be in the 80s. That's a great question, though.
That's cold for me.
It
was 100 today.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's not bad. Tuesday will be 79 with rain. Wednesday will be 78 with rain. These are highs. Thursday will be 80. Friday 81. Saturday 81 with rain. And then the lows are in the upper 60s. So
beautiful.
That's perfect.
It'll be paradise. Rain every day?
Well, I don't know. What does this infographic mean here?
What is rain exactly?
So it just says
you should go to like AccuWeather or something, not like Google Weather.
What's wrong with Google Weather? Google Weather is good. All right, humidity.
You can't even tell if it's going to rain.
Yes, I can. Precipitation 60% on Tuesday.
They probably get their data from AccuWeather.
No, they get it from weather.com, actually.
Powered by Card Ladder.
Well, if it was Card Ladder, it would take all the weathers. It would be like Weather Ladder. It would take all the weathers from the different sites, and it would then tell you what everyone's predicting.
Yeah, so there's high chances of precipitation. Over 50% chance. No, 40% on Wednesday, 50 Thursday, 50 Friday, 40 Saturday.
Yeah,
apparently that merits a little storm graphic.
I think in Dallas it does, because I don't think it usually rains that much.
It hasn't rained where I live in 3 years, so.
Oh. Wow.
It's obviously a joke, but it never rains in Arizona.
I think that qualifies as a drought.
I love how people that don't live in Arizona just think that everything here is like a cactus, and like if I say it doesn't rain, you all just believe it.
Definitely did. Vic, are you in Wisconsin, buddy?
Justin Herbert is so annoying. Zach Wilson looks like he's annoying. I want to punch that guy in the face. He has the most punchable face in sports history.
Yes, he does. Agreed.
There's so many people rooting against him. They're like, I hope you fail.
Wow. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, Vic is in Wisconsin. How is it?
Give us a super quick recap so I can get really hyped before we get down there tomorrow afternoon. Oh, wow. A good, mature show. Better than Dallas. Wow.
Props to Grant for setting that up.
Big time. Big time, dude. That show came out of nowhere. It wasn't on my radar at all. And now it's like one of the biggest shows, period.
Did you see the PWCC setup? They got like a massive setup right in front and center there.
Right in the center of the room, yeah. All roads lead to PWCC in that place.
A lot of high end. Awesome. That sounds like a great show.
More quality than quantity. That's pretty enticing.
People have Herbert Autos say this card is for sale. Yeah, I think everyone owns a Herbert Auto right now. He signed a lot of cards.
Nice. Okay. Well, let us wrap this up. Great episode, crossover. Thank you to all you guys who held true for 2 hours. Maybe we'll have a 3-hour one in the near future. What are we going to do from Dallas? Have we thought about this?
3 hours crossover live?
I think we should do one in the suite.
Should you be in your suite and I'll be in my suite?
Oh, come on. That's lame. God damn. I know you guys are like...
Or we should get like a guest that joins us, maybe 1 or 2 guests.
There you go. Yeah, now you're thinking. In person, man. I know you guys are like hermits over there, but no, we gotta... Time to get out of the shell and meet in person. This is why we're here.
I'm going to do an Instagram live with multiple people in the same room. It's going to be a lot like this, where it's just like disembodied voices.
You're not disembodied.
Maybe we'll go live. We'll go live from one account.
Okay, there we go.
And we'll pull in someone from the show and say, "Hey, come back to our hotel with us at super late at night and film TV with us.
You want
We'll
to
pay for the beers.
make a video?
Yeah. And then also tell them we'll have seltzers.
Yeah, of course.
We'll provide you with alcohol and candy. Come back to our hotel and let's make a video.
We definitely have to have seltzers, though. Like, right when we get to Dallas, I'm going to be figuring out where the seltzers are. Loading up.
Well, good. Put the seltzer distributors on alert. We're coming to raid.
I wonder if they deliver. I'll look into this for you, Josh.
Thank you. Yes. Find the nearest Chipotle and the nearest seltzer distribution center, and we're good.
Got it. I'm on it.
There's a couple. We need to start scoping out restaurants, though, because I think there's